All right. All right, let's do it. Give everybody a second to get back in. We got chat functionality now. We're all ready to roll. Unlike the Syracuse basketball team last night, which I'll give 5 minutes of time to, man, that was tough to watch. Oy. I've never seen an SU basketball season like this in my lifetime. Mm, 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 mm. It hurts my heart, quite honestly, a little bit. Like it is so far from what we're used to as Syracuse University basketball fans, and maybe that's just pure spoiled. I mean, the end of the Boeheim era, we had multiple years where we didn't win 20 games like he had done his whole career, where we didn't reach certain metrics. The NCAA tournament, we've never done anything really in the ACC. And we lost to the last place team in the division in the league last night, and it was embarrassing. I don't know how else to say that. Like, this team does not hustle, doesn't play defense, doesn't move the ball on offense. Like, it's simple basketball, and it seems like they have enough. Don Terry outdoors. Look at Don Terry. How you doing, buddy? Mark Webb, Tammy Hoover, Merlin Johnson, Aaron. How's everybody doing? So yeah, that's my 2 seconds. Normally I don't miss watching a game at all in a year. And there's been multiple ones I didn't watch. I didn't stay up late and watch any of those West Coast swing games with Cal or Stanford. It seems silly that we play in the Atlantic Coast Conference and we have added teams from Texas and California. Go figure. So anyway, let's talk fishing. Walleye Fest, May 3rd and 4th, 2025. Love it. Love it. Brian Hammond. Yep, it's working. The first go around, I don't know what happened, but the whole side of the screen where the comments are supposed to be weren't there. DTO, Don Terry Outdoors. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so May 3rd and 4th, there's so much to talk about. I have talked a little bit about what's going on with Walleye Fest. In the past and last year, and I haven't been fishing much for everybody out there. I've been ice fishing 3 times this winter so far with light to mixed results. I mean, I love the ice fish. I do. And if it was a different winter this year and I wasn't so wrapped up in Walleye Fest and everything that goes along with it, I would be out there more. I don't have a machine, and it's funny. I've got one of those big hub shanties, and when you got a bunch of people, it's great. I mean, you can comfortably fit 5 or 6 people in there. Everybody fishing along. The problem is that it takes long to get it up and down, and it's not easily movable. And if you're in the run and gun world, or if you jump into a spot like a NIDA, any body of water, but you jump into a NIDA and you put all your hopes and dreams in a hole that's that big around in the lake. It's an enormous body of water. And so I like to be able, in years past, I would be a little more mobile. This just not the case this year. So what I have done has been walking, which, listen, walking's walking. I mean, we all do it. But the couple spots I go to where I can get to deep water fairly quickly hadn't produced, and I haven't been back out there. I've either been, working my construction business, or I've been working here in my office, the worldwide headquarters of Walleye Fest. Yeah, Merlin says, how about that muskie? And I see that you're saying tiger. I'm not going to get brought into the, everybody's hysterical argument over what kind of muskie it is. The DEC said from a picture that it was a true muskie. I've seen the picture multiple times in the release video. It doesn't look like a tiger to me by markings wise, but in all of the muskie world, or in northerns, no matter what, all these fish have variations, and they don't all look a standard way. I mean, we've all caught perch with no stripes, a largemouth with no lateral line, and I've caught plenty of pike and some muskies over the years that can be smooth-sided, can be really barred up, the tiger that I caught, the big tiger I caught a couple years ago down on Atisco Lake, like you could see it. You could see that vertical lineage, and it looks like tiger print on the side of a tiger. So I don't know, and nobody will scientifically know without a shadow of a doubt, because kudos to those boys and their dad and whoever they were fishing with, because they put it back. They put it back. It's probably out of season anyway. I don't know the season dates. It used to be muskie followed the same season dates as bass, but now, of course, bass is open year round in most of the states. So I'm not really sure. They probably couldn't have kept it anyway. But kudos to them for letting it go quickly, safely. The biggest fish that, and I'm going to make a segue here. They let that big fish go. It was an amazing situation. They got some video and pictures of it. The world of cell phones is wonderful because you have your own studio right there, no matter where you are. Don Terry's talking about doing a YouTube channel and stuff, and you can do most of it nowadays with a phone. GoPros are cool, and you get really great footage. And I'm a big fan of the GoPro footage over my phone footage. But on the same hand, in the last couple of years, I've done a lot of stuff with just my phone, and everything's right there. It's quicker, it's easier. The manipulation of YouTube footage back and forth takes forever. But for those of us out there now, those boys weren't necessarily chasing that fish that day. And okay. But they let it go, and they were great about it. I just, as most everybody, if you're still a subscriber to In Fisherman magazine, which I have been since I was probably 10 years old, they came out with the 50th anniversary issue this month. I just got it the other day. And one of the big things, In Fisherman was an incredible, invaluable resource in the fishing world. I personally believe that Al and Ron Linder sit at the very, very peak summit of all things fishing, and not just skill, but they were teachers, and they figured something out. They put it into a formula that people could understand. It's FLP equals S. Fish plus location plus presentation equals success. And they went through all of the really industry-changing ideas and things and formats that In Fisherman and the staff came up with over the years. And the two things that I love are the Master Angler program and the brain cramp. The Master Angler program and come on, man, spit it out. Selective harvest. Got it. So we'll segue into Walleye Fest. And whether it's Walleye Fest or whether it's any other derby, tournament, whatever the case may be, my personal feeling on this, and again, it's my personal feeling, sportsmen, hunters, fishermen, we are the conservationists because we use and intimately are familiar with the resources that we all use. There is no greater conservationist than the outdoorsman who wants that outdoors to be there for him to enjoy throughout his life and for his children and grandchildren. Sustainable harvest, selective harvest, catch and release, a lot of those things that you hear now that you just accept as the norm 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years ago were unheard of. We are way farther towards sport fishing as a sport than we are with just simply keeping everything we catch no matter what and eating it. There is something to be said for both. The format going forward, and we've been doing this the last couple of years and hedging our way. Instead of just going from zero to wow, we've taken steps along the way. And the steps are that for this year, we have a system in place where every fish will be entered virtually this year on the water by the angler within, seconds, minutes of catching that fish. They're going to get they'll follow through, and I'll go through that in a minute. They'll follow the program. It's 3 quick, easy steps to get your fish from, live into whatever leaderboard you're entered in, okay? Any fish that is entered in this year's Walleye Fest has to be immediately released. And that's part of the entry of it. And why is that? It is because we as fishermen, if we're going out for sport and we're going out to search out the biggest and most amazing specimens of each species, then because that fish made a mistake and bit your lure, it shouldn't cost him his life. And if we want to be able to go out and catch these big fish, and no matter what system we're in, doesn't matter what body of water, Oneida, it doesn't matter, does not matter. If we're searching for the biggest fish in the system for our sport and for our tournament and for our bragging rights and all that, then I believe that we as those same anglers, that passionate group, we should be the ones advocating that those big fish get put back. And with that being said, before there's any pushback, any fish while you're out there that you don't enter in the tournament, so let's say you're only entered in the main leaderboard, which is just like the old Lions Club Derby. It pays 25 places. Everybody joins it. It's one big fish. So that means in the course of your weekend of fishing, and you enter that one big fish or your biggest fish that you've entered, everything else that you didn't enter, then state law is applicable. You want to keep your limit while you're out there fishing, and keep your limit of 15, 16 inches. That's exactly what they're for. And that is the selective harvest portion of it. We're choosing not to selectively harvest those big ones that we're going after that we all want. We're taking those smaller fish. They're better eating quality-wise. They're better eating contamination-wise. And the state provides, and every state provides for some sort of legal daily limit that you can keep. And if that's a part of your fishing life and world, that you want to bring home some fish to eat, have at it. It's just not one of the fish that you enter in the tournament. So let's segue. Edward Mann boat show this weekend. Yeah, I'll be there starting tomorrow. I'll be there all 4 days. I was going to try and sneak off and get out to the Niagara Fishing Expo. It's the same weekend, so it's a conflict for me. I'll be at the boat show with Krenzer Marine, my largest sponsor of the Awakening Angler, and Walleye Fest. And I'm positive that Krenzer will again be sponsoring the tagged fish portion of our derby. And I'm hoping to, really try to get a boat or get a giveaway boat that's big and beautiful and exciting. And boy, I would love to see somebody win one. I really, really, really would. I just had this conversation with Tim, the owner at Krenzer's, the other day, and we're like, man, wow, I'd love to have somebody win a boat, and have it be in a position to where, and it might not be this year, but that time's coming where we will have, look at Ed Hatton, who fished those 2 Lake Erie derbies last year, the Fall Brawl, and I forget what the other one was called. They gave away 2 boats each. No, they paid for them. They took, with all those people that entered those derbies last year, he got a small amount of cash, but he won 2 boats, 2 brand new boats over $100,000 a piece. So that's pretty amazing, and that's the prize package, So that is a goal of mine, to be working towards that with an incredible sponsor that I have in Starcraft Smokercraft. The talks are actively happening with them at the corporate level, trying to see what we can do and how we can do it to where we're putting up a boat for a season or a tournament or something, and we can literally give somebody away a new boat. I would be, above and beyond excited if I was able to hand somebody, as part of their prize package, oh, here's the key to your new boat. So no questions asked. So we're working on that. Walleye Fest again and always is the first weekend in May 3rd and 4th. That won't change. And once every 7 years, it will still be Saturday. That Saturday will still be opening day. It's going to be a couple years from now, but still. Yeah, the wind last year. I'm gonna order up the perfect weather. High 60s, low 70s, light and variable winds, enough for a good walleye chop. Not so much that we have people getting the crap beat out of them. Mike, you're in, Mom. What's going on, buddy? So that is the basis of Walleye Fest. That's my thinking. And if people ask me, why do you do something? I have reasons, and this is my reason. And I firmly believe, and I found one of my old brochures. This is before the internet days, from 1994, 95, when I started guiding my first year up in the Salmon River. And the very first paragraph on the inside, when it's, get to know your guide or whatever, I'll have to find it. It's in the garage. I'll post it online. The very first paragraph is, hi, I'm Matt, your guide, and I believe in catch and release, and I believe in the CPR method, which is catch, photograph, and release. And that's been around for a long time. We talk about that nowadays like it's a new idea. It's not. It's been around for a long, long time. And that catch, photograph, and release in tournament fishing world really spawned out of the kayak tournament movement in the last 10 to 15 years, because the guys with kayaks wanted to tournament fish. but they didn't have a live well, and they didn't have the ability to have a live well on a kayak. So they came up with a phone app based way to measure it, enter it, put it back in the water right where they were, because they didn't have the ability or the time to hold the fish, to whatever, and I am firmly against mandatory transportation tournaments and tournaments that are solely based on weight. In the fishing world, we all know, especially in the last couple of years, how many cheating scandals have went on with fish that have been altered in some way, whether added weight, added water, whatever, stuffed inside the fish, where the average tournament director like me can't see it. The only reason those guys were caught a couple years ago in that big walleye tournament was, I was told somebody could physically see one of the sinkers kind of poking out of the skin and the one belly of one of those fish. People had suspected these guys for a while, but it all came to a head when the tournament director shoved the knife in that first fish's belly, and out it came, and out came the debris that was purposely placed in there. I cannot, in all honesty, sit here and tell you that I can 100% eradicate cheating in fishing tournaments, because I can't. What I can say is that I will not do tournaments that forcibly require the anglers to move those fish from where they were caught. I have talked to multiple biologists with the state and with Cornell about that very fact alone, these mandatory transportation tournaments, and how they can upset a whole body of water's ecosystem by moving fish a tremendous distance to come to a centralized weigh-in station. I personally think that you will see that start to go away sooner than later, quite honestly, in the world of competitive fishing, because for the average angler, when you look at that fish that's been put in to competition, you don't know what's in there. And if you say, well, just cut them open, so then we're back to killing all the biggest fish in our system, I don't agree with that personally. So what I've done is I've built a system that agrees with my sensibilities. In the last 7 months, 7 months now, and we're still going strong. We have, if you guys were there last year at the award ceremony, you met our two designers. Something I will say too is, and I probably should have started, and I will continue to say this. This isn't the only time, and I'm not shying away from it. Last year in 2024, we had technical issues. We tried to very quickly make a system that would work for last year's Derby, knowing in advance that we were going to scrap it as soon as the Derby was over and go towards building a phone app that would handle all of this. And we had some real issues last year with, whether perceived or real, we did not make it easy enough for our customers to get in and do what they needed to do. And so we've hired professionals. My designers are professionals, but we've hired professionals over and above that have reviewed our app that we're building to get the flow correct, to make the least amount of button pushes or keystrokes needed to do everything you need to do in the app. Merlin Johnson. So does that mean no measuring stations this year if all CPR? Correct. There will be no in-person measuring stations. Everything will be done on the water with bump boards on your app, on your phone. It's an app that is as simple and easy. It's no different than Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of those apps. If you use any of those apps, this will be second nature to you, and it is super easy to navigate. Okay. And some people be like, oh, well, I don't want to buy a bump board. If you're on a boat and the boat has a bump board, you're good. Each person doesn't have to have their own individual unless they're fishing alone. Bump boards can be shared between people. Everybody, if you're fishing in my boat, I've got my bump board laying right there. And whoever caught the fish would put it on the board, take the picture, send it off, boom, done. It was a bit cumbersome last year. And so one thing I will say, though, too, is, guys, I listen. I listen to everything. And I listen to the criticisms just like I listen to the accolades. And there is truth in all of those things. I have, myself and my partner and my designers, we have worked incredibly hard. And we're not done yet because it's not ready to be released. It should be in the next week or two. And hopefully in time to run a couple ice derbies with it. No, Aaron, we shouldn't ask Courtney that. Sooner we can get it up prior to our big derby in May, we can start running some smaller ones, figure out how to get all the bugs worked out, that kind of thing. The app will be available. There are other apps out there, Fish Donkey, Fishing Chaos, eTournament. There's multiple other virtual derby tournament apps. Okay. What I will say to you, though, right off the bat is, as soon as we release ours, we're twice as good as anybody else. And you say, why is that, Matt? Because our app has layers to it that nobody else in the industry has. We have our own private in-house social media. The site will have, the app will have two versions. You'll have a free version that'll give you all the functionality of the social media, your own homepage. And as you go in and build your own homepage, no different than Facebook or any other situation where you have your homepage, you have your pictures. In our app, this is going to be very similar to you, the angler, to your own baseball card. Okay. It's going to have all your stats on it. It's going to have a place to house all your catches that you've entered into the app. It's going to have a place to show all your career winnings and your best finishes and all of that stuff, along with other features, some from the video game world, some from the online betting casino world, that really are going to make it interesting and fun. And as I stand right here, right now, the app will only be servicing Walleye Fest, and the app will only be doing walleye tournaments. My plan the rest of this year, after we get through the first one in May, is hopefully the week of the May tournament here on Oneida, I'll be able to announce more dates here in New York for this year. My goal is to do 5 total hosted events where I'm personally there, just like we are. Mike, I'm not sure about that yet. We have a lot of side pot stuff that's in the works that we're nailing down. I don't know that we're going to have anything for this first derby, because remember, we've got to get the app it's in the final testing stages with Apple and with Google. So we have to get through that right now, and we have to get the logistics set up where everybody can go in and buy their derby ticket and any of their additional leaderboards that they want to buy. And we have all that to do still between, and again, Mike, I'm reading your comment. That's a very interesting situation, and we're well aware of it and how some of the others do it. We are just navigating the legality waters between gambling and whatnot. So in New York State's a little funny about that, but that's irregardless. We have so many fun things inside the app that I have every confidence that people are going to love it. And again, in my effort to listen, and this is now 2.5 years. I mean, we're coming up on the 3rd year already. It's hard to believe. This will be our 3rd Walleye Fest. I had a lot of people say to me, I don't tournament fish. I got you. And I do have you. And I can't tell you that it's going to be ready before this year's tournament, but there will be. So if you pay an entry fee into a derby or a tournament, and then you win money or cash and prizes for a prize pack, then you're going to be what we consider for our app and for our hierarchy, you're a semi-pro, okay? And that semi-pro is just that. You physically pay for entry fees into leaderboards, into events, and then you can make money back. We're also going to do an amateur, and my assumption is we're gonna have that as a release by summer of 2025. And that's going to be a place, and again, there are other apps out there that do these kind of things, but as an amateur, let's say, all my hawks are back. They keep flying across in front of me as I'm looking out my window here towards the old golf course. We are going to come up with an amateur division. We already have the framework laid for it, where I'm going to pay you to go fishing. In prizes, in in-app currency, in all those different ways that are fun, to where you can go and have your own profile page, your own baseball card. You can keep track of all your stats, all your fish, all the bodies of water you fish. Everything will be there in one house. And again, you'll still have access to the social media side, which is going to be our own private social media. We'll be doing this on social media in our own app. When you pay your membership for the app, you come in and we have our own private community, and we'll be able to curate who comes in. There'll be no spam. There'll be no scamming. There'll be none of that, because in order for an angler, a advertiser, a sponsor to get into our network, I have to let them in. And this is something that you guys know me, and you know my level of positivity. And I think that positivity is the single biggest factor in our success and what we're doing and in what we want to do for everybody. And we talked about, Merlin brought up that Musky a few minutes ago. Man, you had people online going berserk over, I guarantee you it's this, or I don't have time for that. You're not guaranteeing nothing. It's just this. And I'm not listening to this anymore. I listen to everything, and I put it into my plans, and I weigh things out. But we got no time for that. And I don't know how many grown men out there and women, anglers, are tired of the negativity, tired of the, ridiculousness that takes place in a lot of these corners of the internet. And I can say with absolute certainty that my little corner of the internet is going to remain positive and upbeat, and that we will shine a light into the fishing industry that will bring people to us. And I can't believe that anymore. That is honestly, that's the great Kevin Costner line from Field of Dreams: build it and they will come. I'm building the framework. We have built the framework, and I believe that how we conduct ourselves as a business, as an angler, as a community, how we do that will absolutely bring us back more of the same. And the better we put out, the better content, the better app, the better product, the better returns, the better payouts, all of that stuff. The more we put out, the more we will get back. And that is the simplest law of nature that I have come to understand in my 53 years of life. So, Bob Bender. Bob, I'm going to take your compliment. I'm going to take your compliment because I could not be more honored if that is what ends up happening. And I have a vision that is exactly what's going to happen. And some of what we're going to be doing in the future, this is just 2025, and this is just Oneida Lake. And I also want to say the people of this area, the people of New York, the people of Central New York, and the dedicated anglers of Oneida Lake, all of you are going to be the ones that start this, okay? I'm building it, but you're going to be the ones that start it. You are all going to be able to say, we were there when it first happened. We were the first ones. We were the OGs to come into this app community. We're the ones that helped shape what my vision of the fishing industry going forward is, and how we interact between businesses and anglers and back and forth. So Ray Scott, founder of BASS, founder of Bassmaster, a revolutionary in the world of competitive angling. Another, I talked about In Fisherman already. BASS is a mover and a shaker in the industry. And it's funny, I've been a member of BASS on and off for years and years of my life. I've never once fished a bass tournament, a sponsored, sanctioned bass tournament. I've never done it. Not a BASS tournament. So all those years when I would join, you had other perks and they'd send you some stuff but in a certain respect, I felt like I was supporting the angling community, and I knew what they were doing in return for us. We have our legal counsel right now drafting, and if you look around in all of the major tournament trails in the walleye world currently, one thing I will say is they're not very large tournament trails. They're not terribly encompassing. And my idea to, in some ways, mirror the BASS organization is to do it just for walleye and to bring that walleye world, just the walleye world, under one umbrella. Okay. And as we move forward, I just talked to you guys about, obviously we do our main derby on Oneida Lake the first weekend in May. That will always be our cornerstone. That's going to be the rock we start on. That's the very first step, the foundation, whatever metaphor you want to use. We're going to do more than just that tournament this year in 2025. By 2026 and 2027, the expansion plans are massive. We have, the legal team has created, I've organized our own sanctioning body. which is called Walleye, WALLI. And that is the Walleye Anglers League International. So that will be our sanctioning body for Walleye Fest events. Okay. Walleye Fest will be like Bassmaster, and Walleye, the sanctioning body, will be like BASS. And we will, when you become a member, it will give you access to the app. It will give you different levels of access to the app. It'll allow you to compete in all of our sanctioned events. The sanctioning body will hold and curate all of the records, all the historical data. We have a membership package that will go out to you that far and away gives you more than what you put in, you know, and this is not going to be an expensive proposition by any means. You know, you look at Bassmaster, and I think they were anywhere from $29 to $149 a year for membership, depending on what levels you were at or whatever you wanted at additional. We have started putting together sponsor packages already from our amazing sponsors that have been with us for 2 years now, going on 3. So I'm very excited to roll all of this out in concrete shortly. This is simply, I can't wait any longer. I can't wait any longer. This is, you know, my closest inner circle friends know about this and have known about this for months. And my mastermind group of some of my closest business friends, we've been working very hard, and we're bringing something to the market that I couldn't be more proud of. You know, we talked about the Walleye Anglers League International. We'll be in Canada. We'll be in Canada next year, unless for some reason Canada becomes our 51st state this year. My goal is to, by 2027, be in Europe and chasing some of the Zander market that is, and Zander is a European walleye. It's the same Latin genus. It's just a different name over there. And they get a little bigger too. It is widespread in 9 or 10 countries in Europe. And like I say, everybody who signs up now, everybody who comes in early, everybody who fishes the Derby this year, you guys are going to be the OGs. You are going to be the original group of anglers that come into this community. And for me personally, I couldn't think of a better place to do it. This is my home. You're my people. This is my lake. I've been on this lake since I was 3 years old. I love it here. I love being involved with everything. I love promoting these kind of things. I like to bring prosperity to everybody that we come in contact with, whether it be an advertiser, a sponsor, an angler. My job is to make your experience the absolute best it can be. I take that job extremely serious, and we have dedicated, my team and I, we have dedicated, I can't tell you how many hours. I'm in my office every morning between 4 and 5 a.m. before I go to work. I'm usually in here in the evening on conference calls, talking with sponsors, with developers, with whatnot, and building this out to where now it's not going to be fully formed when we first open the doors. And for this year's tournament, I mean, it'll be fully formed functionality wise, but there's a lot of things that we're going to add as we go. We've already got plans for 3 or 4 huge upgrades as we get into this summer. So I had to let the cat out of the bag. I had to. I couldn't be more excited and proud of this whole thing, and I am looking. how do you say this? Let's use the correct verbiage. I am excited to show everybody and to have them participate in something that I think is amazing. We also have to do more of this. I have been so out of touch these last 6-7 months. Even when the open water season was still around, we're working so hard on this that I really, my focus needs to be on this right now and not physically out chasing fish. But I got to tell you, my right arm is lost. It hasn't set the hook in so long. It thinks it's, on another body at this point. So we have much more to talk about. Last weekend, I was out on Tully Lake for an ice fishing event with some friends. And one of the gentlemen in the shanty with me, we got to talking, and he said to me, he goes, Matt, he goes, you have no idea how many mornings we've had coffee together. He's talking about him sitting in his office at some point during the day watching the show. As soon as he said that, I could feel my chest start to tighten up a little bit because I miss it. I miss you guys. I miss the interaction. And so now we're into, I'm still finishing up. Our developers are still working hard, but now we're into promotion mode. Now we're into, let's get the word out. And some of that is going to fall onto our OGs. Some of that is going to fall onto our loyal and trusting anglers that are believing in what we're doing. And that means sharing, sharing is caring. If you care, then share. Don says you've got to have a perch derby in September, October timeframe. Weather is warmer, which should help participation. All right, we're gonna wrap things up here. We got about 10 more minutes. We'll do a full hour. I came on right at 9, maybe a touch after. So let me address that, Don. With the app, okay? The app changes everything. It allows, so in the Walleye Fest world, within the app, there's going to be 2 parts. There's going to be what we call a hosted event, which is what we do here in May for Walleye Fest. We're physically here. We're doing an awards ceremony. We're doing all this stuff here physically in a body of water in a certain time. Boom. And that's a hosted event. Virtual events are the other side of things. So we have hosted and we have virtual. The virtual is in the app, and we have templates, pre-made templates that are going to cover, because again, once the app goes live, it's worldwide. So you don't have to be here in New York or in Central New York or going to Walleye Fest to sign up for this app, because you can have access to virtual boards, virtual leaderboards, 24/7, 365 on any body of water you want to go walleye fishing on. You can do it for a private group. You can do it as part of a public group. We will have ways and means within the app to where you can share a link. So today's whatever day it is. Today's Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. I'm not sure. Today's Wednesday. This weekend, I want to go fishing on the St. Lawrence River, okay? And I've got 100 friends of mine that want to go too. And so we go in and we sign up for the board that is for a weekend, biggest walleye, whatever criteria you want. You'll be able to fill those in, or they'll already be pre-selected. And then you put in your body of water. As soon as somebody enters one of those boards, the app kicks out a alert blast to everybody in the app that says, "Hey, the St. Lawrence River leaderboard for February whatever this coming weekend is, 15th and 16th, is now active, meaning someone has signed up for it. If you want to get in on this, here you go. And then the person that signs up, or any person that signs up, will be able to send out invites to their people in their network. So, Don, we'll be able to go and do a derby for anything species-wise anytime. Now, we focus on walleyes primarily, but this app will open up as soon as we get the walleye world nailed down exactly how we want it. Then we can recreate that within the app to have individual portals by species. So you are a walleye, perch, and northern pike fisherman. You could buy your subscription to all three of those fish, and each one of those subscriptions opens you up into a portal that is dedicated to just that species. Okay. We're starting with walleye. Walleye is close to home. It's where we got our start, and it's what I want to make great again. A very good friend of mine who's a high-level walleye tournament fisherman said to me last year, he goes, Matt, you got to make walleye fishing cool again. You got to make it cool. We don't get the press that the bass world does. We don't get the love that the bass world does. We don't get the level and amount and breadth of tackle and stuff like that the bass world gets. Part of that is because bass is spread out throughout the whole world. Really, it's quite shocking. Certainly all through North America, Central America. I don't know about South America, parts of Asia. Largemouth, smallmouth. They're in a lot of places. We're going to do that with walleye. I'm only bringing this up because Don mentioned a perch tournament. There's nothing that we won't be able to do. You can have, if it trips your trigger and you want to fish something competitively every weekend in different places, boom, there you go. The app will have everything right inside it. You can, all your filters as to where you want to go, what body of water, what kind of tournament, duration, species criteria. Is it one big fish? Is it best five? Is it MLF style where it's most keepers? Any number of things. So to answer your question, Don Terry, outdoors, we'll be doing those kind of things throughout. I have revamped this year's Walleye Fest leaderboard menu. We've taken away a few things that didn't produce like I thought last year. And I think we have an excellent lineup this year. It is walleye primarily, and there are a couple perch categories. And new this year that we've never done before is we have a team option, a two-man team option that we will be cultivating as time goes on. But this year's event will be the first time we have offered a team tournament format with 5 different leaderboard categories that a team could get into for this derby. So I think maybe tomorrow. Now tomorrow I will be at the boat show Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to plan on going live each day from the boat show somehow, some way, and we'll talk about something different within Walleye Fest as we go. This has really just been an overview, and so I can just let the cat out of the bag. I'm excited. I don't know how else to say that. I'm excited. I am intensely focused, and we got a lot of still to do. If you're sitting out there listening and you're a small business in and around the Syracuse, Central New York, Oneida Lake area, and you want to advertise with us, please reach out to me. You can reach out through the email. I'll have my information in there. You can go to WalleyeFest.com. It's been somewhat updated. The new dates are up. If you're interested in sponsoring the tournament this year, as opposed to just advertising it is a much smaller dollar amount coming in. One other thing, we're talking about advertisers and sponsors, and this is what I'll end on. One of the criticisms the past couple years has been, and the farther we've got along to doing away with these measuring stations, you had people last year, because last year's measuring stations were right on the water, physically right next to the shoreline. So you could bring a fish in very quickly if you wanted to have it measured and then go back out to release it. Well, we don't need to do that anymore. And one of the criticisms was, the old derby, the customer had to go into someone's place of business that was selling derby tickets, and they would go in one time, they would buy their ticket, and off they go. The B Hammer Open, absolutely, Brian Hammond. The possibilities are endless. And the B Hammer Open could be simply throwing hammer rigs. I mean, that's the level of, what's the word I'm looking for? That is the exact level of how we can utilize this platform to all of our advantage. Not only, because all of these things are fun for the angler, and we're going to make them ridiculously fun to where even our staunchest, anti-tournament people are like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. Don't let me get off track. So last year we moved all of the measuring stations to boat ramp parking lots or right adjacent to the water. And I had some people say, well, you're not supporting the local businesses. You're not supporting the local tackle shops. And I went and met with Scott and his partner group out at Lakeside last year, and then at Lakeside Outfitters, and then here about a couple months ago. And the new plan, and I have a plan in place, and that'll be one of the things that we're going to discuss, to do an advertiser bingo. And in the app, when you go and check in at one of the preset sponsor or advertisers that advertise with us, we're going to encourage you to go into their place of business, and you will scan a QR code from the app on your phone right in their business. And then what that does is that enters each angler automatically into the leaderboard for that business. And that business is the one that puts up the prize pack. And it's anywhere from $100 to $500. And it can be anything that business chooses. If it was somebody like a Brian Hammond or a Mike Urema, they might say, okay, I want to be one of the sponsor or one of the advertisers and advertisers bingo, and I want to get people to my store. So then what we do is, as Walleye Fest, we send the advertiser as part of their welcome package to be an advertiser with us. We send them a QR code that is printed out and they put right in their business. And then we also send them a welcome anglers sign that's going to be out front of their business. You go in. So again, let's say Brian Hammond, B Hammer Lures. So I go to Brian's shop, I scan the code, and let's say Brian says, hey, for all Walleye Fest customers, it's 10% off your first purchase when you come in and scan the code. Boom. You got 10% off your purchase while you're there. And then when you scan that code, it automatically enters you into the B Hammer Tackle leaderboard that is only available for people that go to that business and scan the code. So now, instead of one person going to one local business to buy their one ticket, and then that's it, now we have the ability to incentivize all the anglers to go and support our advertisers and sponsors in person. You're going to get some sort of deal. You're going to get some sort of incentive when you physically go to the business to scan the QR code. and then you're going to be entered for free into that leaderboard, which is tied to that business. Now, that might be for a giveaway where we just draw that winner, like a door prize kind of thing on Sunday at the award ceremony, or it's tied to one of the existing leaderboards. Maybe it's tied to the main leaderboard. And so everybody that goes to B Hammer Tackle and gets entered in his board for free, not only do you have a chance to win that prize pack that business has put up, it could be tied to another leaderboard that you're already in. It could be tied to the main leaderboard. It could be a giveaway. It could be a criteria that is set by the business. We're flexible and fluid and open to those things to make it fun. But now from the angler side of things, you're getting something for nothing. And it only costs you your time to go visit that business. And if I take everybody at face value, that was very important for people to support local businesses. So now when you get your bingo card as the angler, when you join all this, then who knows? There could be 20, there could be 50 advertisers. And so you have the ability to go to every one of them, every one you want to go to. We're going to have each prize pack listed. You can determine which prize packs you're most interested in and go to those businesses. The possibilities are endless. But what it does is it allows me as a digital company to physically get my customers into my advertisers and sponsors' businesses. And that, I think, is critical, and it's something no one else is doing. And that came solely from listening to what people said. And absorbing it, and I run things through my own filter. Does it make sense? Is it logical? Is it good? Is it true? Is it just? Without truth and justice, nothing can last. I don't care what it is. You got to be. And this is real and true, and we can really, as a group of anglers, we can really affect those people that positively that are supporting us. That's the circular flow. Those advertisers and sponsors give to all of the anglers, and the anglers have the opportunity to give back to those sponsors and advertisers. That is what those kind of things are going to be what not only helps us grow, but puts us at the top of the heap. Our goal is to be the #1 app in the fishing industry, period. Like I don't have a lesser goal. I don't have a backup plan. The goal is to be the best. And that's why we're putting so much time and effort into it. And again, I listen. I'm open to hearing suggestions. I would prefer they all be constructive. And I know not everybody is wired that way. Some people like to bitch and piss and moan and complain, and you could give them $1 million and they'd complain that it wasn't $2 million. I get that. And I don't ever want to be somebody that dismisses a group like that. If anything, I've tried to embrace them, and I can point to direct things and say, well, so-and-so said this, and it really stuck with me. And now the filter down effect is I've implemented something that will take care of that. Sometimes things are unavoidable. Other times it's just a matter of careful thought and planning to deliver what you want to deliver. And we're about to deliver a son of a bitch in good time, let me tell you. I'm here for two things in this life: connection with other people and fun. And I find that I'm drawn to build and provide those things which I desire most. I sometimes say to myself, man, I wish there was something fun to do, or I wish this or that. I'm done wishing. I wished when I started this first tournament a couple years ago that it could be more creative, it could be more encompassing, it could be more all of those things. And here it is. So we're going full speed, baby. Full speed. There's only one way, and that's forward. So I've talked long enough. Excuse me. Enough. We'll talk every day from now on out. I promise. I was going to do it last night, and I didn't because the SU game was on. I should have just did it last night because it would have been better than watching the SU game. So there we have it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Every single one of you that's watching now live, that will be watching later. If you feel like you have here's a little caveat. If you feel like you have a special, incredible talent that you can bring to our organization, you reach out to me privately. I do not know everything. I do not have the ability to do everything. We've put together an all-star team, and I'm always looking for all-star members. So, Bill Moore, yeah, I'll see you this weekend, Billy. Maybe I'll have you be on live with me one morning. But yeah, so we'll go from there. All right, everybody. I love you guys. Scouts honor. I hope to see you all this weekend. Certainly if you're in the market for a new boat, whether it be pontoon, pleasure, or fishing, Krenzer's is in both buildings. We've got 40 some models, Chaparral, Robalo, all of the pontoon lines, and Starcraft and Smokercraft boats, fishing boats ready to roll. So, all right, I'll see you guys all this weekend. I'll see you every single day, and we're going to talk Walleye Fest, baby. Walleye Fest. Keep your tip up.